What's up, ladies and gents? I am your host with the most, Matty G, coming at you live from Isolation Station 1123. This is Thursday night, so you know what that means, gentlemen. We are dipping into the realm of Suplex City for yet another Suplex City Chat. Looks like JB3 is going back to his Isolation Station as we speak. I'm, of course, not alone. I am here with my right guy, my right hand up to the Little Warrior, coming at you live. Little Warrior, what's up tonight? What's up? And just kind of what's up. Okay. My main man, the Villain, is making his Suplex City debut. Mr. Villain, what's up, brother? Too sweet, homie.
The Villain?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, man. Happy to be here, man. Wrestling was pretty interesting this week, and we still got more to come. You know, that's the good thing about wrestling. It doesn't stop. It doesn't quit. You know, so there's always some wrestling somewhere. You know, I'm glad to be here talking to you guys about it.
That's what's up, my brother. That's absolutely true. That's the one thing, except for NASCAR. You know, they went to esports, which is kind of cool. But during this whole pandemic, the only thing that really stayed around was wrestling, and that's what's up. Going down to the man below him, he is the man, the myth, the legend. He is the pain maker. Right here on Suplex City Chat. Ryan Payne coming at you live. What's up, brother? Too sweet to you too.
Too sweet. Pretty good right now, man. Had a fun time chatting with you guys last week, and I definitely look forward to what we got for us today. I mean, there is so much to talk about.
No kidding. Like I said, that's the man, the myth, the legend coming in. Right now we're looking at his ceiling because he's just so cool. He got out of work and he decided to drive straight into Suplex City. That is JB3. JB3, when you get back, what's up, brother? Too sweet to you too, my dude. What's good, homie?
You know, I had a long day, and it was either going to be watch wrestling or talk about wrestling. So here we are.
There you go. That is absolutely something that's been done in my house. That's for damn sure. Talk about wrestling or watch wrestling. So let's just dive into it. Gentlemen, apparently in Maryland, there's a law out there somewhere that says that in professional wrestling, you can be fined, in AEW's case, $10,000 for intentional bleeding. My first thought is, how officially do they know? Because, you know, they don't show that shit on camera where somebody cuts themselves. You know? I mean, we're talking about, you know, a no-holds-barred match here. You know, it was definitely lived up to the hype of Kenny and Jon Moxley. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's stupid. And I think that they definitely, like, honestly, like, okay, first off, like, okay, if you watch a real death match, and I don't want to disrespect Kenny or Jon Moxley or anything like that, but if you watch a real death match, I'm talking old school Cactus Jack, Terry Funk death match, like that, you know, they didn't really do much craziness. I mean, Sugar Glass, you know, these, like, some of it was like not real barbed wire, so it would prick your skin, but it wouldn't be crazy. So they were actually being safe, but it just looked more brutal than it actually was because it's wrestling in it.
For sure.
And I think that honestly, they just want money. Either just want money or they want to throw shade. Yeah, it's one or the other.
If not both.
Personally, it's actually the athletic committee, you know, the sports athletic committee for that state. And they're probably just looking around trying to, you know, they're probably like, shit, we need some money. What can we try to get a little bit of money from? Because it's just stupid, especially with a big company. Even though it's a new company, for a big company like that, like $10,000 ain't really shit to them. It's like a slap on the wrist. They're either gonna pay it or they're gonna say, you know, whatever with them, and probably just not have another event at that state. You know,
yeah. For real.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. It was either the athletic commission or, you know, it could be maybe, you know, parents and families, you know, kind of like, because there may be some parents that have kids watch wrestling and all of a sudden they see something like that pop up and they go, oh my God, is this really happening? I want to expose my child to this. And then they'll complain to the state or the athletic commission. And then the athletic commission, waiting for the right time, will go, okay, we're going to fine you guys. Because this felt like they could have addressed this after November. Instead, we're hearing about it now.
Well, it's something I was reading is that it was actually put together by somebody who worked for the company, I believe. I didn't write the name down, but it's somebody that's fucking, he's mad. And it's like, you know what? I think what they're going to do is either AEW is going to do one of two things. Either they're going to just pay the fine and go, my bad, or they're going to fight it. And I think, honestly, they should, because there's no actual visual proof, that they actually did it. Sure, we all know that they did. Like, there's no doubt about it. He cut it himself.
And it wasn't even a lot of TV.
Wait, who cut themselves? Because they were cutting each other with that. Did someone bladed? That's something I'm not aware of. Maybe I should watch the match over again.
No,
from what I remember,
there was no blading. The only cuts that happened was when Kenny and Moxley were hitting each other with those barbed wire weapons. That's about it.
And when Kenny was sweeping his back because he's the cleaner.
Cringe.
Why would that matter? It wasn't like it was accessible with more people if it was just on cable. This was a pay-per-view match. So unless they have some athletic committee bullshit, that, like I said, they should just say fuck that state and not go back.
And that might be what they do. You never know. All right, guys, let's kind of move past this. Let's have a little fun. I got all kinds of right. Y'all have kind of something going on and everything. So let's kind of. What do you think of MJF versus Jungle Boy? How they announced that? Just MJF's fucking reaction was priceless. He's like almost offended. They put them together. Like, he straight up spit his drink out. I thought it was one of the highlights of the night. Just like, oh, how dare they?
Well, they had a lot of highlights. If I could go first, they had a lot of highlights, and that was a good moment. I think they have to start putting matches together because there's a lot of wrestlers that weren't wrestling, for at least over a month.
And they've got to pay for
a month and a half. So like, we haven't seen Hangman. We've barely seen any women's matches on the show. We had one last night. So I think we just got to start getting these people going. So it's gonna Jungle Boy is great. We wish we were seeing more, but we haven't seen them a lot since the lockdown. So for MJF and Jungle Boy, I think it's cool. They probably rushed it, but it's like, what can you do?
Sure. This whole pandemic might have fucked things up. This might have been one of those, where we're going to slowly build to it and then have them pop off. Hey, don't worry about that. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Hold on.
Probably a different time there. Probably
no, look, what I want to say regarding the whole thing, man, I think that was definitely hilarious for MJF, but to me, that felt more like just a good character moment because we just had like a promo, because earlier there was a promo from MJF, saying that he's coming back. Then there was a Sean Spears promo. Then you get that interview between them to where that bomb drops. And to me, it kind of seems to me like from MJF's promo, he kind of was saying he's just coming back to fight a nobody, but the fact that it's going to be Jungle Boy feels to me that possibly it could be like a nice small little feud here between Jungle Boy and MJF between now and at Double or Nothing coming up soon. I mean, just for something to get MJF working again, because with Jungle Boy, with the size and agility, I think he can work with certain wrestlers depending no matter what their experience are. And so I think Jungle Boy was a good pick. Otherwise, what are you gonna do? Have him go up against Marco Stunt, Pineapple Pete, one of his best friends? Sure as hell they weren't gonna put him against Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, see, having him against Jungle Boy is fine. The one thing that really irked me out, because I don't think the promo video. See, and AEW does this, and it kind of irks me out. It's one of those things. It's almost like you did a promo video for MJF, okay, and he's got this big "I'm back next week." It's like huge, and then you show him in the crowd. I don't think he should have been in the crowd this week. I don't think they should have waited till next week to do that, because I think he is going to come back in action next week, and I think Jungle Boy is a Double or Nothing. When they do things like that, it gets confusing for fans, and then it just kind of it brings down the mystique for me. Like, everyone's, we're excited to see MJF again, or we want to watch him, get dusted. And then all of a sudden he's in the crowd, and it's almost like it's going to take the thunder away next week for me
I
personally.
kind of agree. And at the same time, they had Sean Spears do a promo, and you kind of see in the promo, he had himself a beard, and then all of a sudden he's there and he's clean shaven, though. They did like a nice jab at it, but it does take away some of the whole reason behind those package promos. Them in a live interview shows that MJF and Sean Spears is sort of like Buddy Bundy tandem because over their hatred for Cody. But at the same time, there could have been some other heels they could have had in that crowd, instead of MJF and Sean Spears, because they added nothing outside of that interview, and the only people who were actually adding something was Britt Baker, who involved herself, in the QT Marshall and Lance Archer's match. I just think for me that, it made a lot of sense because throughout most of Dynamite, MJF has been doing these promos like he's got like a little pinky cast on and he's got a neck brace on, really playing up that jerk. Like, I'm legitimately hurt even though it's a minor injury. So you see him there. What's he going to do?
See, I like that, though. He's kind of like, I have a hangnail, so, it's career threat. I like that, though, because it kind of plays into his, dickish heel move. But I understand that. I have to admit, Sean Spears' promo about calling Cody, just out. I like that personally, because if Cody wins the TV title, which when we get closer to Double or Nothing 2, we'll do a rundown of the card. That could be another, that could be his first feud if he wins the title, but I personally don't think he will, but that's here nor there. Something else I kind of dropped that night was Mox versus Brody Lee at Double or Nothing 2. I like the idea because Brody Lee's been on a hell of a run. Yes, he's been just squashing. The biggest match he had was against Marco Stunt, where he literally just squashed him. But he's gone on a run where, if you look at it, he's like 9-0 in AEW. So it makes sense. And I like the fact that the minions came out and whooped the shit. Yes, when the ref hops out of the ring like that, something's coming down the pipeline. But I like the fact that it's these two. It's almost like Shield versus Wyatt Family 2.
I agree.
It wasn't 9. He hasn't had 9 wins already. He's probably had 3 matches, Brody Lee. He's not at 9.
I know
He showed up during the quarantine, bro. Like those guys, I think him, Wardlow, Murder Hawk, they each had like 3 wins since they debuted. He's 3 to 4 max.
And
unless
I
they've been fighting in the dark, wild card. And I
like
didn't see them
and persona. I like the fact that they went from the Dark Order being, this like cult thing to almost like a Godfather esque. I kind of like that, and he's really playing it up because he's really intelligent. The way if you ever listen to the interview,
it's
the way
intelligent.
He's really intelligent, and the way I like that. So. So we're all in agreement that's going to be a pretty heavy match. I think it's going to be one of these knockdown drag-out kind of fights. I'd like to see a stipulation of like no hold barred or
I don't think no hold barred is going to happen. I think with Brody Lee and Moxley, we're going to get the match that we probably could have gotten between these two when they were in the WWE, because it could have been at the time. Because you have seen with this promos, Brody Lee knows how to not just talk, he knows how to pace himself on what points to hit in his promo. So and especially the fact that in his promos he's done nothing but dog Vince McMahon, make fun of his antics, makes that even more that Brody Lee is dead serious about what he's going to do. And I like this promo against Moxley. I mean, Moxley's down on the floor and he's pretty much saying, "Not the same guy you fought before. I'm a different man," and you can clearly see with those with his minions, the masked men. To me, it felt a little bit of shades of his feud with Jericho in the Inner Circle, but this one has, and surprisingly, it feels kind of similar though. But the difference is you have one where with Jericho and Moxley in WWE, those two, you already saw the potential between them. This is kind of like untapped potential. This was something that could have been pushed, could have been capitalized on. But because WWE, they always like to see themselves as, we want one guy representing us, or we don't think you're the right guy. instead of letting them, actually go out there. Feels to me that AEW is going to give this an opportunity. I'm not sure it's going to be it's not going to be as great as Mox and Jericho at Full Gear. No, at Revolution. But I think we're going to get something.
Yeah, but the thing is that, I personally don't give a shit about this, but a lot of fans are going to say, this is an ex-WWE guy coming in, been there for a month and a half, and is getting a title shot at a pay-per-view. And this guy has never been a world champion in WWE. If you're a world champion in WWE and leave and go somewhere else, you can do pretty much whatever you want. But, TNA always got this backlash. Like, it was always like, oh, ex-WWE guys. It's like, no shit. Like, where the fuck you think all of these wrestlers come from?
No shit.
Some of them
honestly,
WWE failed. Others were part of other matches in the past. I have nothing. I had nothing against Jericho becoming champion because you see what.
Yeah, you already talked, bro. I mean, I was just gonna finish my point real quick.
Go for it. My bad.
Yeah, right.
It's just surprising that
I'm a mute.
It's just surprising that this guy, is getting a title match so soon when people are gonna say, oh, because he's an ex-WWE guy, like, and it's just these guys could have a great match and they probably will, and I'm hoping they do. It's just kind of surprising it's this early, this quickly, when you have other guys there,
Right. Yeah. Mox actually touched on that with an interview because they were asking him not necessarily about the title picture, but they were just saying in general, like all they're going to say is AEW is signing up all the WWE guys. And he's like, look at us. He's like, our top 8-10 guys is like so many of us. We came from WWE. He didn't say we came from it. He said, if we want to be here, he said, if we wanted to be in WWE, we could go sign with them right now and they'd take us. He's like, but we want something new. And as far as the title shots go, Pete, you're right, man. That's all they're going to say. They're going to say, oh, he's getting a title shot. But honestly, Cody done booked himself out of the title match that he would have got. And, I mean, there's no one else.
Yeah.
Who else is there?
But the funny thing is, on the
this could be just
Matt, sorry, I hate to remember, but I just want to say it's just hilarious with these constant complaints, and I understand. But when you constantly keep hearing people make their own list of wrestlers they want to see in AEW or New Japan and Ring of Honor, and then they finally get their opportunities, then you'll get those people, the naysayers, go, oh, why aren't AEW pushing their talent? Or same with Impact, when they were brought a wrestler from WWE. If you look at the differences, it's clear when you see a WWE wrestler in a company and they're on fire, they know exactly what they're doing, they're on free range. Trust me, you want to hit that Iron Man and see what happens moving forward. So, they're also perfect to set up a big talent, a groom, to have matches against so you can see the chemistry.
Damn.
Shit, felt like you just got hit by a bomb or
My bad.
You just walked in on somebody and you're like, oh crap, I didn't mean to see that.
We're down, JB3. You need to score your long, homie. But yeah, so it's kind of one of those things. Cody can't do it because he booked himself out. So who else is next? I think it's going to be one of those spot fillers. I think it'll be a hell of a match, but I don't think it's going to be Jericho Mox Revolution. But that's okay.
Can I jump in on right quick? Can I jump in to end the conversation on that match? I think this match, if I was them, I'll give the title to Brody Lee. I have the Dark Order there. Have him in the belt on some shock shit because Moxley don't. I mean, not Moxley. Yeah, Moxley don't really need it. So if they want to do something like surprise out of the blue, that would be great.
I think right now it's a little too soon to give it to Brody Lee. Let's drag this out. Maybe have it the match end on like DQ where like the minions come in and beat the shit out of him and just keep building it up, and then have it kind of like pop off. This could be one of those long running. That's the way I look at it.
I think Mox should get the win though, because the best thing I like to do, they're not allowing DQ finishes and match interference. They're allowing other than time limit draws. They're actually giving conclusions. Whether you're happy about who wins or not, they're at least giving you a finish. So then the rubber match later on is going to be elevated even more. So if Brody Lee does lose, guess what? Brody Lee is going to have even more ammunition when he wants to go when he wants to fight Moxley. You start giving him more mowing down through, honestly. So I think if Mox does win, it's just going to help Brody Lee bet more, especially in the promo department.
I'd like to see this match. All right, guys, let's get to the elephant in the room when it comes to AEW last night. Probably one of my favorite matches I've seen in 2020. Not a 5-star match by any stretch of the imagination, but it has to be the street fight between the three faces of Matt Hardy, Kenny Omega, and both Sex Gods. I thought that
match was nuts.
Nuts. It was absolutely. It wasn't. There was only a little bit of blood because Matt Hardy nicked his arm on something, but it didn't need to be. Like, it was just an all-out brawl, and I love the fact that last shot of the inner circle with the finger, with inner circle on the background of Jag Stadium, and it was just. I laughed my ass off. I went back and rewatched it today. I laughed my ass off at the fact of Matt and Kenny in that little buggy thing, and just the look on their faces, like whole Matt Hardy.
That's the meme right there too, because I'll be honest. Hey, I thought that Jericho putting the cone on his head was going to be a meme, but then
it should be.
But I seen that and I was like, man, of course they would do that. But yeah, to see what's crazy is that was a funny match. It was a really, really funny match, right? But it also has some really good high spots in it too. Because sometimes those backstage brawls can get a little iffy, but this was fine. But that moonsault Kenny did off the top of the scissors lift, I thought I was like,
he's gonna die. He's gonna die. He's gonna die.
He didn't hesitate at all. He knew that he was like, if I'm gonna do this, I just gotta go. Just like
Cody did when he did the moonsault off the top of the cage. Just like, I gotta go. If I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go. If I stay long, I'm gonna flip out. And just like everything about it, I love that part where I think it was Kenny. Sammy throws Kenny into the ATM and money pops out, and he just grabs it, puts some away, and then hits. The little things of that match was great, and JR was on point.
Yes.
Like, what do you got to say about that, Love?
At the end, I liked the flip button.
Yeah, Caleb thought it was cool that they fought, through the Concord, put Matt Hardy on ice. Like, if you ever been a 20-pound bag of ice, that shit hurts.
That looked like it hurt. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've had a I've had a 10-pound bag of ice accidentally dropped on my head, and yeah, that hurts. So the fact that, what Matt said, it is the little things that worked here. Rather, it was Matt constantly, taken out, and then he comes back as a different form of himself. He's Broken Matt, then he's Team Extreme Matt, and then he's Damascus. I love how Matt is having so much fun rearranging his ideas and characters, and you will constantly see different fight, and you see different forms of how he's working that in. Because, of course, when you see in the start, he's Broken Matt Hardy. And, of course, it's simply just like he's a brawler. And then he comes back as Team Extreme. He's taking high spots. He's bringing out tables, ladders, and chairs. And then when he's Damascus, you start seeing him do, like, he's biting people. He's kill people with a golf cart. My favorite part was when he has Sammy Guevara on the table, and he's telling Kenny, I want you to indulge in your addiction. You better.
And Kenny looked like he's ready for a war. Like Kenny Omega's gone into all kinds of stuff, but he looked like he was ready for a fight. And it's rumored that they're going to be doing something that Kenny and Matt are going to be tagging again next week. So we could be talking about something else. And you know that the Inner Circle had to win this match. There was no way that they were going to let them, because of just the fact. What it does do, though, is it brings the Inner Circle home. And once Hangman comes back and the Bucks, everybody come back. What that's going to bring is, and then it'll lead up to Bloody. Because in Florida, they're going to start allowing fans which means that we can actually get the blood and guts match. I think it's a good way to build.
Yeah, I gotta say, this match was great. This match was everything I didn't even know I wanted in a match. And that's the cool thing about AEW is that they haven't forgotten how to have fun, you know, because most of the guys that are like figuring out the matches are former wrestlers and, you know, current wrestlers. And it's just this shit was so crazy, man. It was so cool. You know, from the beginning, you know, there was just so many little details in this match. Like you could go back and watch this match, you know, 10 times. And, you know, this week alone and won't be bored. You know, you'll find another little thing where you're like, oh shit, look at that. But the highlight, you know, there's so many different things where, you know, Ryan touched on it when he, you know, came to Matt Hardy. You know, he brung it. You know, Kenny Omega is, you know, best bout machine. He brung it. And for being, what is he? He's 26? No, that's mistaken.
Yeah, I think he's somewhere in his 20s. He's somewhere in 24, 25.
Yeah, Sammy, and then you have a veteran like Chris Jericho. This match was fun as hell. It was great. Yeah, it wasn't you know, a fucking technical barn burner in the ring, you know.
Wasn't supposed to be.
A lot of guys, yeah, it wasn't. And it was just, yo, Sammy was a goddamn trooper. It looked like a movie, bro. She looked like a movie when he started running. He kept looking back, and then when he turned, and I don't know how he took that bump, bro, but if he's I hope he's okay, man. I really hope he's okay. I know they probably practiced that, you know, maybe, you know, earlier that day, but man, that shit sold, bro.
I'm gonna have to throw this out there. Hey, I'm gonna have to add to it, villain, because I'm gonna have to throw this out there. Sammy Guevara is the best bump taker in AEW.
Hands down.
He took a better super kick than Shelton Benjamin did. Wow.
Oh, come on, man.
I want to go back to super kick real quick. I want to go back to Mox and Kazarian real quick. That super kick that Mox took when he jumped off that shit, he took that like a champ. Now, shout out real quick also to all of AEW. We've got to give a huge shout out to the man, Tony Khan, because it's come out that he literally wrote everything that went down during this pandemic and their shutdowns in like 20 minutes. He wrote everything. And he has definitely got the mind for wrestling. And he said he's writing everything out and he's improving everything that hits TV. So you know if it's good. And he only started after Christmas break. So you know he's got his mind is right. And shout out to Britt Baker. 2 MVPs of the empty arena matches, in my opinion, which is going to be our segue into over to WWE, has to be Britt Baker and Asuka. I love Asuka. She is just like, she looks like she's having fun because rumor has it Kairi Sane's going back to Stardom, which, you know what, that's probably the best thing for her, unfortunately.
I got something to say.
Hold up, fool.
Come on, bro.
So,
all right, good. Yeah, if we're gonna talk about Britt Baker, you got to talk about the infamous Jake the Snake returns with a mother effing snake.
We need to talk about
that. Dude. That was crazy.
AEW straight fire this week, man.
Dude, that was. I liked it, but that like when he got on top of her and kind of thrusted, It was a little cringy. That's the only part I didn't like about it.
You know, everybody was cool because that shit happened. That means Tony Khan was cool with it.
Tony was cool with it. Me Too movement. It's just that people could get ass hurt because of this whole Me Too movement. Personally, I thought it fit his character perfectly.
I mean, yeah.
You still want the kids to be scared, bro. You still want the kids to be scared. AEW ain't gonna break that cage.
Especially not with Jake the Snake, man. Jake the Snake was the master at not speaking loud but terrifying everybody.
Hold on.
So
I love the fact though that they even touched on the fact why Cody didn't come ringside running out to save her, because like the training room and shit's clear across the way. They had to take the cart, which is the same cart that they ran over Sammy Guevara in. So I absolutely love that. I think Jake the Snake, I think that's just going to bring even more heat to Lance.
No word, guys.
What do you have to say?
Who was that hacker? The hacker.
Oh, we're going to get into the hacker. I promise.
I need to say this one thing regarding Snake.
You've got to say one thing. I don't believe that.
You're right not to believe that. Look, I'm only saying that just so I can get some time. Look, despite people's feelings, what people's feelings are going to be, Jake the Snake proves how you can properly build a heel. You don't always need a promo. You don't need to attack somebody and get on a microphone. Just your body language and your actions can define you as a heel. And the fact he brought in a snake, I mean, other than Matt, you may have focused on the fact of Jake towering over Brandy. I was more focused on the fact that snake might actually bite her. Okay,
That's a python.
He had that snake
squeezed.
Python, they don't bite. They squeeze.
But
No,
yeah.
I'm just saying the camera angles they had on her with the snake either near her neck, swirling around between like her legs every time Jay kept moving it. Sure, to us, that snake probably has no venom in it. It's probably been defanged to where if it does accidentally bite her, it's not going to be that much of a hard bite. But I'm just saying, from a TV audience perspective, to the imagination.
It's probably her snake.
Yes, for her snake. But I'm just saying, from the TV audience perspective, when you want to scare people, what is more scary than having a snake's head this close to your face, not even knowing if it's going to strike or not? Or having Brandy close her eyes, having to rely so much trust on the fact that the snake could bite her, and then she would have to instinctually react to it. I mean, sure, Jake Townsend with her, it looked a little cringy, but that was the best point of it. It's all supposed to be cringy. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. So then when you get true pure heels later down the road in AEW, you got Jake the Snake there as the template to build off of.
RB3.
Yo, so now that we got this conversation, this is going to kind of branch something I said last week. I've been predicting this, and I'm telling you right now, pay attention. This is the second week in a row that Cody was not there for Brandy.
Whoa!
And they even mentioned it. They even mentioned it on commentary, which means yes, they were explained why it wasn't, but they also mentioned it. You know, so maybe they purposely planted that seed. I'm just saying that's my prediction. Heel turn's coming because that's the second week in a row now where Cody was not there for her.
So do you think he leaves her, or do you think she goes heel with him?
That's a good question. I could see them doing the Triple H Stephanie McMahon thing where it turns out it starts out like he goes heel and she doesn't, but then later like she turns on somebody.
I like that.
I think it's gonna be a push and pull.
Maybe later, but I don't know. Right now it's too quick because she just turned face a couple months back. You know, and they haven't
I
really
want to see. Okay, do you think we'll see that Britt Baker and Brandy? You think we'll see that match?
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, we can see that. Yeah.
And I think it'd be a good match because Britt Baker's come a long way since. Like, I love that scene a couple of weeks ago where her nose gets broken. She's just got blood all over her, and she's just got that whole look on her.
Because they both
after she's
but they both flipped. One was a face, now she's a heel, and the other one was a heel, now she's a face. So we got to see how this works. Now Brandy's a face, you know. So that match will be good. Be good. 10 minutes.
Real quick. Do you think we'll see Dr. Luther versus Jimmy Havoc anytime soon?
I hope so.
Maybe on Dark.
It's a buy-in.
Maybe on Dark for another week.
I'd like to see it on the buy-in, but be a hardcore match. Because if you know anything about Dr. Luther, he is a Japanese death match just king. He is. So
all right. Feeling him.
All right, guys.
Between this fight, there's just a big problem between this. When this feud was happening, Jimmy Havoc wasn't a complete heel. He had heelish tactics. And Luther, on the other hand, he was a heel. So if this does happen, though, you're going to need to see two different personality setups between the two men.
Hey! What's up, good people?
Z-Man. Interference. We haven't.
So, Z-Man, we are just you real quick. Did you catch Kenny and Matt Hardy? Did you catch that, Matt?
Yes, I did. I saw that. I was able to watch all of Dynamite earlier today. That was a damn good match.
Consensus with us is it was totally bonkers. It was exactly what it should have been. Do you have anything else you think you should throw in there?
That's well. First of all, seeing Matt and Kenny ride around on that golf cart chasing Sammy down was hilarious. And it look. I know wrestling is what it is, but my God, that hit looked like it hurt when they clipped Sammy at the side. That hurt me a little bit. So that was
violent.
Yeah, it was. And also I'm not even sure what they call it, the little ladder that Kenny was riding up on.
It's called a scissor lift.
Scissor lift, yeah, before he jumped down. There was some good spots on there. It was a good episode.
All right, guys. So like I said, my MVP for WWE for no crowds and so forth has to be Asuka. She is selling it just to the max. I love it. She walked down the ramp and you could just hear her scream in Japanese as she's coming down. She has taken this whole heel persona and just ran with it.
I think Asuka is having fun because she's just going to write out her contract. Even though Kyrie's leaving. No, look, this is just my idea. This is my take. I think Asuka, kind of like with Ambrose, when Ambrose was leaving, he was just riding it out. He was doing whatever he wanted, also taking some of the losses and some of the hits. I think Asuka's doing the same right now. That's just my opinion. I will not be surprised by the end of this year, Asuka is gone, and then she shows back up in Stardom, or she shows up at a different promotion.
I think
I can see that.
Spoiler, I think Asuka ends up with
because I can see that.
That's just me. I think Asuka ends up with the briefcase, but we will get to that. It has been killing the kid. SmackDown Hacker. Let's just break that down.
SmackDown Hacker.
Three main names have come out. CM Punk, which if you look closely, the guy doesn't have tattoos, so that right there knocks him completely out of the running, but hear it out. Ali or Shorty. I personally think it's Ali. I think it's going to be Ali because you see the circle from his hand.
It's Shorty G.
Little Warrior thinks it's possibly maybe Shorty G or the cooperation of both of them.
I can see that.
Villain, what you got, homie?
It's not going to be somebody from NXT, so it's got to be somebody on that roster. I am going to go with Xavier Woods. I think when he comes back from his injury, they might want to pick up the New Day, because they've been together so long. Maybe it'll be something to move forward, especially if they're going to shake up the roster again soon. Was it maybe some trades or some shit? I can see that happening. So, yeah, I can see it being Xavier Woods.
I kind of like that. I don't know why, but I kind of like that. Painmaker.
He's a computer guy.
I think they have to address the elephant in the room, the fact that they're using Ali's symbol. So when Ali does return, they need to address that, because if they're going to do this stupid long storytelling to where Ali's saying it's not me, and then all of a sudden they reveal that he is a part of this whole thing, that's not just terrible storytelling. That's just that's once again insulting the audience's face. To me, I think the Hacker is going to be maybe a tag team partner of Ali's. Maybe it could be Xavier Woods, or it might be somebody who's been constantly underused on SmackDown who's going to take the opportunity. Can't think of one in the meantime.
Shorty G.
Oh, come on now. Let's all be honest. It's Tucker. It's Tucker looking out for his boy.
I refuse to card check.
They wouldn't be shocked the fact that it was the whole thing, the whole video clip of Sonya messing with Mandy. It wouldn't shock me if it was Tucker.
That was hilarious.
What's up?
All right, Z-Man, what you got? Hit us with it. Who's the hacker?
I 100% do believe it's Ali, just mainly because of the symbol. Even though there's been some CM Punk type lingo that he's been using in like some of his messages and stuff, I would be completely surprised if CM Punk is introduced back in this way just to come back in the WWE period. But I think it's Ali. But I would love it to be Punk, bound to guess, especially they wouldn't do. They wouldn't if it was CM Punk. Also, they wouldn't reveal it to be Punk in the no fans era. Also, because they know how big of a pop that could be. So there's no way they would allow that to happen now.
Right. I don't know. I could see that. JB3, what you got, homie?
So before I give my answer real quick, I do got to say about the CM Punk thing. If CM Punk was going to be the hacker, I would hope that they, like you said, not now. Obviously, it's got to be a big pop. But also, I would do it like a long-term build, and you would reveal who the first, hacker is, and then maybe a couple more. He would be the leader of a stable, but it would be like a bigger stable. I would do like Hydra did to Shield in the MCU, like build it up, and then have like half the roster, like have like Nexus times 10, like 30 dudes just beat up someone, like something crazy, and CM Punk comes out. But as far as
I don't know. I mean, I gotta say, man, the idea of the hacker, like having more people, is a really good idea. But it's not gonna be CM Punk.
No way.
Man,
Let's be real.
$1 million.
Right.
I'm not coming back for a hacker fucking role. Let me see him Punk walking off and say, "What you got for me? We want you to be a hacker." He's like, "I'm out."
My actual prediction, and I'm gonna go off the wall here because I like to go off the wall, is months back. So months back, there was a superstar who was talking a lot about the truth. He was talking a lot about lying. He got accused of doing something, and he was like, "I am not a liar. You're a liar." And I think that the hacker is going to be Daniel Bryan.
Oh,
that would be interesting.
I kind of liked.
Wow.
I say this because the feud with when he had Eric Rowan with him, and who did this to Roman Reigns, who attacked Roman Reigns, he was telling the truth. He never did it, and he was adamant. I'm like, I don't lie, and then all of a sudden everything goes away, and now the biggest punchline on this whole thing is the truth will be heard.
Yes.
That's my pick.
Yo, what if we're all looking into this like way too deeply, and hacker, the truth will be heard. It's just our truth. Period. Like that's his new gimmick. He just comes out. This is hacker.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think this should be enough time to spend on this. Let's move on, man.
There you go. Robert real pissed because he tried to. There you go.
That would be interesting because he's been like just away. I don't know what happened to Robert Roode.
You know what? If it's our truth, then it has to be only a distraction so he can win the 24/7 championship.
I think once football comes back, we're going to see R-Truth pin. I think we're going to see him pin Gronk in the end zone after a touchdown.
That'd be hilarious.
All right, guys. Let's jump into Money in the Bank real quick because I know some of y'all might have to go sooner than later. So let's just start with one of the biggest matches, and that's Mrs. Money in the Bank. We got Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Carmella, Lacey Evans, and Dana Brooke. I have two thoughts. Actually, I have three. One, I up here, I would say Shayna Baszler should win it. Also up here, I would say Asuka because she's getting a hell of a push. Like Asuka's like that. Or I would personally like to see Lacey Evans take it back to SmackDown, but they already said that Monday Becky Lynch is going to confront whoever's got the briefcase. So we basically know it's going to Raw. Right. So I think Asuka's going to pick it up, but I'd like to see Shayna Baszler have it just so she could kind of do that Brock Lesnar kind of, I've got this. It's right here. You don't know when it's coming because Becky and Seth are already talking about taking some time off. So she can drop the title to Shayna and then they can go. Z-Man, who's going to walk away with Mrs. Money in the Bank?
I'm a 2 months with this. I would love Shayna to win it, but I think somehow the powers that be, aka Vince McMahon, is down her. So I think if it's I'm gonna say SmackDown Superstar, even though I'm a little bit precarious about it. I think Lacey Evans is gonna win it because I think that's been Vince's golden girl for a while. I just hope it doesn't get in the way of a possible Bayley versus Banks feud that they seem to be leading to right now a little bit. So maybe Evans gets it now, then Banks will she beats Bayley for it, then Banks beats Evans for it, and then Bayley's jealous or something like that. But I think Lacey Evans is gonna take it.
Okay. I kind of like that idea. However, I would like to see Lacey Evans if that's the case, get the briefcase and she go to cash it in, and Sasha block her. Go to protect her for loot, and then Lacey gets a successful cash in. So then we get to see the separate without the title. I would just like to see these two run. Hell, I'd like to see those two run all the way to Hell in a Cell.
I got
All right, Caleb. Little Warrior. Who's going to win the briefcase?
Oh, Shayna Baszler.
Little Warrior's got Shayna.
I got 2 more.
No, you're done. Shayna Baszler, you're good. You're good. No, you're done. Caleb, that's enough. He's got Shayna Baszler because he'll go into like a 30-minute Ryan Payne kind of tirade. But we love you, homie. We're just playing with you. Yeah, I know. Villain, who's going to be Mrs. Money in the Bank?
It's going to be somebody from Raw. I mean, I really don't care. I don't think any fans really care who's going to win this title or this briefcase because it's SmackDown title is pretty much boring. You see the woman over there, and they got they still got Sasha Banks and Bayley. They'll probably have a feud, maybe lead them to a title match. So you still got that over there on SmackDown. It's going to be somebody from Raw, and I mean, whatever.
Good night, Jack.
JB3, who's going to get the belt, homie?
Man, I'd love for it to be something crazy, but I really do think it's just going to be Shayna. There's a lot of things they could do if Becky leaves. You could either have Ronda come back on Raw and absolutely destroy her, and then just like Shayna comes out and pins her, and then they got the new stable. Or you can have Shayna just beat her and then run through the division, and then on one of the Raws or whatever, Ronda comes back, and then Shayna looks like I don't know. There's so many things you could do with Shayna with that. She needs something too because I really don't like that she lost.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
Right. All right. So it's pretty. All right. This next one we might as well just stick with money with the ladder match.
Oh, Ryan didn't go yet.
Right.
Whoa.
No, Ryan didn't go yet.
Oh, my bad. He's actually muted, not talking. So my bad.
No,
I do apologize, homie. I'm sorry.
I'll keep it short and condensed. I think it's going to be a SmackDown superstar. Look, I think when Becky is going to take that time off, sure. Having Shayna or Nia or Asuka win would perfectly set up someone getting that championship. But I think they're going to write Becky off with an injury and then make the title vacant. So then we set up a race for that belt. I think it's more of a SmackDown superstar because, to be honest, if they were going to pull the trigger on Bayley and Sasha, they would have already, but they're not. They're spacing it out. If they are, and Matt, if you do want to see go to Hell in a Cell, one of them's gonna. Bayley can't be champion in order for that. Like one of them, they're gonna have to break up.
That is true. Ryan did call.
You were right. I actually predicted you would lose at WrestleMania, and I was right.
You did. I'll give you 100% credit for that. So you think I can understand that? I don't know. I still like the fact that they're slowly working into that Bayley Sasha breakdown, but that could play into a later idea we've got. Yeah, she is doing it. She does have some kind of movie coming out. I don't remember what it's going to be. She would be pretty good if they were going to do a live action Brave, but I think she's too old for that. Maybe the mom, but I don't know. All right, Jen, let's move into Mr. Money in the Bank. We've got AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, King Corbin, my boy. Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. Otis has got a soft spot in my heart. Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black. I'll go first. I think Aleister Black should win the briefcase, but I think they're going to put it on AJ Styles. JP3, who's going to win it?
I agree. I think it's going to be AJ. I wish Black. I don't know, man. Okay, so here's the thing with Aleister Black. I just don't think he needs the briefcase.
I agree.
I just don't. I don't. Because let's be honest, 85% of the time, someone who's a heel gets the briefcase, and they, even if it's a face, sometimes they'll pin them after a match or something. And there's only very few times someone said, "Here, I'm cashing in at this date." It was like 3 or 4 of them, maybe 6. I don't know.
Not even that many, I don't think. I think you're.
But yeah, AJ is the perfect choice because he could just sit in the background while Drew and Seth feud, and all of a sudden, you got a third man in there, and AJ is the perfect third man. And I mean, he's going to be gone soon. He's probably only got a couple of years left, and he's going to take off. So you might as well let him get another run, another briefcase, or get a briefcase, another title run as a heel. Because I really enjoyed his heel run in SmackDown. I thought he did great. Like when he had John Cena's headband on his head. Or his armband, he used it as a sweatband. That was good. So I totally.
Okay, I can agree with that. I would personally rather not see AJ get the briefcase, but you know what? I still think Aleister. I would like to see the Black Mass versus Claymore, kick versus kick, almost like spear versus spear. Oh wait, we don't need to talk about that, do we? Who's gonna win it? I got you next. Hold on.
But who?
You.
Oh, me. I also think. Well, part of me thinks it's definitely going to be AJ Styles, but a little part of me thinks, and it could be a way that WWE just wants to set this guy up again for another run. I think the King could possibly win this. I think he has a chance just because I think everybody hates King Corbin. And so that would draw us a little bit more. And while I don't think if he wins, I don't think he would cash it in on the Fiend or anything. Well, we'll get there probably.
Or unsuccessfully cash in.
Maybe unsuccessfully. But can the briefcase holder go for the other brands champ?
I think it's basically you can cash in on whatever champ you want.
I think so.
I wouldn't be surprised if he went after Drew either. No. If King Corbin,
I hate to say it, but I like that idea of King Corbin having the briefcase, just because I'm kind of getting sick and tired of the King aspect. But if you can give him, King of the Ring and Mr. Money,
you have the briefcase already. What the? Are y'all smoking?
We don't talk about that time anymore. We don't talk about that time anymore.
Wait, we don't talk about the same shit every year. All right, I'm gonna give my opinion. Because
let Little Warrior go. He wants to go. Warrior, who's gonna win the business?
Otis.
He thinks Otis. I like that idea because I would love to see Otis walking out of whatever they call Titan Tower or whatever the fuck they call it, with the briefcase on one shoulder and Mandy Rose on the other, or her holding the briefcase as he's carrying her. But I don't care. I mean, he's already gotten his WrestleMania moment.
And a kiss.
And he got a kiss, and I verbally yelled when he got that kiss. All right, Haven, let's hear it.
It would be nice if it's Aleister Black, but I don't know. He's been there less than a year, and tell me one feud that you like that he's been in since he showed up on the main roster. It's like really is none. He's fought jobbers most of the time, and so it's like he hasn't really beefed with anybody, since he's been on the main roster. So I don't think it's him. AJ Styles is a long shot because he's already 2-time champion. I don't know if he needs it, but I mean they don't give a shit about continuity. So he just lost in WrestleMania buried alive. He can win the fucking Money in the Bank briefcase. Hey, whatever, man. I think it might be wait, no, there's really nobody else. Is Bobby Lashley in it? No, he's not in it. So I don't know.
I think Daniel Bryan is in Money in the Bank as well. Even though it's a long shot, he might be the long shot to win. I mean, AJ and Aleister do feel like the they feel like the heavy favorites.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I was gonna say, to be honest, it would not surprise me, WWE or Vince in this situation, if they do give the briefcase to Corbin once again, because they made the mistake of killing Corbin's earlier push when he won the Money in the Bank briefcase. So now this situation, they got King Corbin. He's irritating. Nobody stands him. It wouldn't surprise me if Vince gives him the briefcase, and then guess what? We have endless promos of him calling himself King of the Ring and Mr. Money in the Bank, which of course in Vince's mind means, oh, the crowds are going to hate him. They're going to react to him. He's going to make me money. I'm going to build faces off of him, and then I'm going to crush him because he is my top guy. That bullshit.
You're exactly right, Ryan. Plus, nobody really needs to remember the whole Baron Corbin run. I mean, WWE has the power to just erase things on now, I see. I mean, I would have swore that Seth Rollins cashed his Money in the Bank on Roman Reigns. But judging from Monday, he just won the title out of midair from Brock Lesnar. I saw nothing with Roman Reigns, so all right. Maybe
I've never heard of that name, Roman Reigns. Who the hell's that?
Right.
Because come on, man, they've been cutting him out. And Papa West does bring up an interesting point. Something the Buddy Murphy.
I was going to say their feud from last year that led to Murphy joining Seth Rollins' stable. Yeah, that was the feud he was in. Other than that, he's mainly had like main event matches. He's had matches at pay-per-views against Cesaro, Bobby Lashley, of course AJ Styles. They're like mini feuds, honestly, but it was against Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
Okay. This one hasn't been announced yet, but I'm sure we'll hear it. Street Profits versus Viking Raiders for the titles. I think Viking Raiders are going to take it just because. Yeah.
I think so too. I think so too. And we could possibly have the Street Profits get it maybe at SummerSlam or something in the future, but I think the Viking Raiders will go.
I think it's going to be the Street Profits because they're going to most likely, in my mind, make the Viking Raiders heel, so then they can be the brawlers, the brutal players that they were in NXT. Because let's be honest, when they're faces, they have to tone them down a bit. They put them as heel, they can turn them back up. So having the Street Profits retain their championship sounds like a good idea. So then when the belts do go on the Viking Raiders, hopefully they can try to start building up the tag team division again. If not, we're just gonna have like another dominant run with another Haas team.
I don't know.
They need to go back to NXT. Hanson and Rowe, War Machine. He's gone back to NXT, take those titles back, but no, they're gonna win.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them and the Forgotten Sons go at it again. But we'll get that'll lead us. Street Profits or Raiders? Who's gonna bring the smoke?
I believe Street Profits is going to retain because the Viking Raiders, the only reason we're talking about them, because they had a promo. They did a promo 2 weeks ago where they were eating chicken wings, in the car, singing.
That shit was fun.
What have they done? And now we're thinking they're going to get the belts. Like, oh, we've seen them in the car. Oh, yeah, I think they're going to win the titles. No. I think the Street Profits is going to keep it so they could probably try to actually – if they're going to tag team division, you got to focus on a feud, not just on one match. You got to build a feud.
I think that. All right, so it's kind of split. This one, in my opinion, this one's kind of the one that's a given in my part. The Lucha House Party, John Morrison, The Miz, The New Day, and the Forgotten Sons. In my opinion, New Day retains. No questions asked.
I'm still sick of the SmackDown tag team feuds and stuff. It seems like I know the Usos are currently out there now because I think Jimmy got hurt, but
yeah, Jimmy got hurt at WrestleMania. He's out 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I say the New Day because it's the New Day, and I don't think the Forgotten Sons are there yet. I know they beat the New Day this week, but I think the New Day retains.
Okay, I don't mean to interrupt, guys, but definitely. I got bounced, so I'm just gonna give my quick 2 cents on this.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna be New Day. It's gonna be the New Day.
All right. Since you and JB3 got to bounce real quick, let's just quickly rush through this. Haven, who you got real quick?
Oh, I got the Miz and Morris. I think they might win the titles again.
All right, JB3.
Oh,
I guess he already bounced. Okay. Real quick. Ryan will run through these with you, and then we can go back and tack it. Firefly Funhouse Bray or Braun Strowman?
It's gonna be Braun.
I think Bray.
We'll go back and talk about that because I agree with Bray. Tamina or Bailey?
Bailey.
Oh, he back. Okay.
Look, real quick. So sorry. Real quick. I think Forgotten Sons are gonna win, and I think Bailey's gonna win, and I think real quick. I think Drew's gonna win, but Seth Rollins is the MVP of the era, not anybody else.
I like that. Okay.
Love y'all.
Hold on. Firefly Bray or Braun?
Bray all day. Bray all day, baby.
All right.
I love y'all.
I will talk to you guys. We'll set up next week.
Word.
So, all right, let's quickly jump back real quick. We can run through these three, and then we'll call it a night. I too think Bray Wyatt's going to win this. I think they're going to make up for having him lose to Goldberg and they could even go back and go, they didn't really have history, so he just let him win. They're just going to retcon what happened at Showdown.
Yeah. What do you think, Kevin?
No, I think on a crazy thing, Strowman's going to retain.
Ooh. Do you think it'll lead into a SummerSlam? I don't know what's after. I don't remember. I think there's another bullshit pay-per-view coming up. But do you think it'll lead to Fiend versus Braun?
Fiend versus
If Braun Strowman wins, do you think this will lead to the Fiend versus Braun?
I don't personally think so because I kind of don't think Bray needs the title, but the Fiend needs the title, but it would help reconcile what happened at Super Showdown. So even if he wins, or even if he wins by disqualification somehow on Sunday, I'll be fine. Or loses by disqualification on Sunday, I'll be fine with it. I would be fine with with Braun keeping the title as long as Bray messes with his mind somehow. If the Fiend messes with Braun, maybe transfers him back to the Black Sheep or something.
Okay. This is interesting. A Corbin versus Braun feud. That could be interesting. Except for I would like to see the Fiend get his hands on Braun and turn him back into the heel he used to be, not this kind of face. I don't really like this face for him. How about Tamina and Bailey? I think this could be where the Sasha Banks explosion happens.
That would be interesting.
I agree 100%.
Because hear me out. What if Sasha tries to get involved? Because they've been building Tamina up to be this beast. I mean, just savage beast. And she's playing it up perfectly. Like that super kick Monday on Friday. I'm sorry. I don't even remember what day it is. On SmackDown where she didn't see it coming and she just laid her out.
Damn. Yeah. I think it
got a dip too.
Yeah, he had to dip out, I think also. But I agree. It would be very interesting to see if Tamina wins this just because of the fact that it's like she came. I'm gonna say she came out of nowhere, but that would be like she came out completely left field if she ended up winning the title, which I think would be interesting. Yeah, it would be very interesting.
It's one of those that you could, it would definitely be interesting. And then we can have, and then there you go. It sets up because Tamina's a heel. We could see it, face Lacey Evans versus heel Tamina. And then down the road, we could see her get plopped with that woman's right and then have Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans, in my opinion, has come since she switched to to SmackDown and became face, just kind of like they did with Drew, who we're fixing to talk about, where they switched him to the different brand and then they became face, has worked beautifully.
I 100% agree with you on that. Lacey was so stale whenever she was with Corbin and her and Corbin facing Seth and Becky. It was just Vince was just trying to cram heel Lacey down her throats. It was nauseating. But she's been a lot better on SmackDown.
It didn't work. Okay, and then last match of the card. Jacob says we have Sheamus versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know about that. I haven't heard about that. I know Sami Zayn's in Canada because of COVID-19, so I don't know if it is. I think Sheamus wins.
I would say Zayn only because Michael Cole comes in and calls Sheamus the match.
But see, Sheamus is starting a feud with Jeff Hardy, so it doesn't make sense. Okay, and then the last one. The WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. In my opinion, this is another one of those that doesn't need to even be asked. Drew McIntyre retains.
I 100% agree. I think Seth has been weirdly awesome, like with his little weird.
I love this. Like, a lot of people in my house don't like this Monday Night Messiah character.
Oh.
I fucking love it. I think it's great.
I love it a lot too, and I loved how he was it last week or 2 weeks ago when he came out in the suit looking fly and stuff.
He did. He looked almost like the Buddy Christ from Dogma. That whole happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, and he looked a lot like the Exalted one to me, also a little bit. Just
he did, and I always wondered if that was just kind of a shot at AEW. But I like it. I'm kind of bummed out that Kevin Owens got hurt, so we haven't gotten this Kevin Owens Drew McIntyre feud like they had planned, but it is what it is.
Thank you. I was wondering what happened to Owens, but I didn't realize he was hurt. But
he screwed up his ankle or his knee when he did that spot at WrestleMania where he dove off the elbow off the sign. That's why it kind of wrapped up real quickly right there after that.
It was a great moment though. So thank you for your craft, Kevin. But man,
I know. Everybody didn't get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start a new little segment here where usually I'd ask everybody, but that's okay because everybody else had to leave, to go into the depth of wrestling and find a match that you think people may not have seen that you really like. And mine comes from the first All Out before AEW happened. It was the main event. It was the Golden Elite, which is Ibushi, the Bucks, versus Bandito, Rey Mysterio, and Rey Fenix. It's a spot fest. It is spot after spot after spot, but it is exactly what it should be. It is fantastic. It's about a 15-minute match. You can find the whole thing on YouTube. Just search. And basically, if you look at All Out. So I'm going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. This was Matty G from my boy Zadius Z-Man. For the rest of us, good night.
Peace out, good people.